And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, Arcadia Quest is one of my favorite games. I like it a lot, and last year I got these Dragon expansions. These came out with one of their, I think it was with their Arcadia Quest Inferno Kickstarter, and one of them was exclusive to the Kickstarter, the Poison Dragon, but the other three you can get. I think you can still buy these now. But these take a while to get into your campaign because you have to play through a full campaign, and then you add the dragon at the end. Well, here are my 4 dragons. Let's take a look at, I'm gonna kind of just squish all 4 here in the same review because essentially they all do the same. I mean, they're different ways that they fight you, but they pretty much have the same rules in each one. Let's take a look. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to look at this is everything that comes in each of the boxes. The box really, there's a lot of room in the box, and if you put the dragon's wings on, they don't really fit in the box, but the wings come off each of the dragons pretty easily. So they come with the rules for each one, a tile that's usable with Arcadia Quest or Arcadia Quest Inferno, some cards for the dragon's turn, some level 6 item cards, and then some other cards that will affect how the dragon works, and then some tokens, which are going to be different based on each of the dragons. We have the Poison Dragon. This one's a little harder for people to get a hold of because this was the Kickstarter exclusive. We have the Chaos Dragon, the Fire Dragon, and the Frost Dragon. Let's take a closer look at the models. Now these are big models. I mean, you see my hand here. These things fit really well in the hand, and they're very sturdy models. The Frost Dragon is the biggest one. I really like these dragons. I think my favorite one, though, might be the Fire Dragon. He has no wings, kind of going more with an Asian dragon type. The Chaos Dragon is the ugliest. This is the one, if I was going to paint them, this would probably be the one that I painted because I would paint them maybe different colors because they look more like a Chaos Dragon. But they're all pretty neat, and these all would look good on a shelf. They're also considered gargantuan type models, so they have special rules for moving them on the board. So how do you play with the dragon? So like I said, there's a board that comes with the dragon, and you have the dragon themselves. And what you're going to do is you will play this after you play a normal campaign of Arcadia Quest. There's normally 5 in each of them. So between the 5th and the 6th one, you're going to be upgrading, and you're going to fight the dragon 2 different times. The first time you fight the dragon, you are simply trying to ground the dragon, trying to put harpoons in the dragon, and you have quest tokens on the board that are single shot harpoons that will hurt it and force it to land. And basically you're going to hurt it and try to win the scenario. You can still fight each other and do all the stuff that you'll do between them. Then between the second part, so you go between a transition, it's very similar to a normal scenario, except there's no death curses and no new upgrades. Basically, you then move into a full co-op mode where all of you are going to fight the dragon together. And the players are going to win. If they take out the dragon, you need to defeat the dragon twice. And you can attack it, wound it, kill it like any other monster. But the monster, when you are going to be using the monster, they each will have their own deck of cards. So dragon turn here. So this is the Frost Dragon cards, and so they will spawn minions, and there's all different minions. Maybe nothing happens. The dragon sleeps tonight. Here, this one's going to let it snow, or Dragon's Hand Frost Swoop. This one's going to, the Frost Dragon in particular, is going to be dropping these around characters, kind of freezing them in place. And so players are working together, so it's kind of a odd switcheroo as you go through and you're fighting by yourself, and then suddenly now you need to go up. You're in the lair of the Fire Dragon, and now you're going to be fighting him. So the books have the setups. They have one for Arcadia Quest, and then they have one for Arcadia Quest Inferno. And many of these places are going to have you put these cards on the board. So these cards here will be placed, and when you land on them, you're going to reveal them. And here, depending if the dragon is on the ground or flying, different things are going to happen. Here I place a total of 2 fire tokens anywhere on the board. All outdoor enemy heroes take 1 fire token hit. The dragon unleashed, etc. So these cards are going to be involved. And then each dragon has a special ability. I already talked a little bit about the Frost Dragon, but let's take a closer look at what each dragon can do. So first we have the Frost Dragon, who, as I said, can cause these to be put around heroes, which you have to hit with a critical hit to free that hero. It also has Frost tokens, which can be placed on your characters' or weapons, and they basically make your weapon unusable. They're pretty bad, although if you rest, they'll go away. Although there are some pretty cool rewards: the Dread King's armor and the Lord Fang's sword for the Frost Dragon, so that's pretty cool. But the Frost Dragon is going to be moving around, and he has a big ranged attack. And basically, you'll notice that there's an initial one, and then there is an elder one, and then there's an initial one. This is when they're flying around, and then when they land and you fight them, then that's your final attack on each of them. So they have different stats. You can see the main thing about the Frost one is his ranged Frost Breath. That's his deadliness. The Fire Dragon, who has some pretty good stats, who has Fire Breath. This is, your typical dragon, going to be hitting you with fire tokens, or putting fire tokens on spaces. When you move into there, you'll get spaces, but can also launch fires, have them turn into infernos, and basically try to burn down the town. If you kill him, you'll get Fire Breath. I forgot to mention the person who beats them will get, a breath. So Frost Breath. These can be added to one of your heroes. Frost Breath looks all cool and all, but Fire Breath is much cooler. And of course this Pentakill, which is a pretty amazing weapon here. So that's the Fire Dragon. Starting fires. What else you expect? Mr. Poison Dragon here, or Miss Poison Dragon, I guess I should say. Again, the stats of these guys are not really that different from each other. But she has these poison eggs that she'll drop on the board, which are kind of places where poison tokens will come out. You don't want poison tokens at all, because poison tokens, they don't do anything to you. You get 4 poison tokens, your character dies. So when you rest, you can get rid of poison tokens, but you got to be really careful with the dragon. And then, of course, there's Death in a Box, Alpha Ring, and Poison Breath. Nice. Now, you may not like fire and ice and poison, but you'll definitely be annoyed by the Chaos Dragon here. Not only are they pretty heavy hit points, but they can put chaos tokens on your characters. Get too many chaos tokens on your characters, and then you switch them. They switch all their armor, they switch everything, their curses and all that, which could be very devastating for you. Also, they can put chaos portals on the board, and if you step in these portals, you can be transported to a random spot on the board, basically like the monsters, which will probably cause you to end up fighting the monsters too. Yeah, I hate this guy. It ain't all bad here. We have definitely a lot of cool new equipment. Look at all these great weapons. From the Fang Bow, which just does 7 attack, which is pretty nice, to the Dragon Crossbow, which does 7 attack, plus 1 attack die for every other dragon card that you might have. The Titan's Grave, a great 6-dice sword that gives 2 defense and 2 rerolls. Here, Skull's out, where you do extra damage based on each of the critical hits that you do. And then there's also not just weapons, but there's a whole lot new spells. Searing 3, Burninite 3, High Voltage, Heartbreaker, which every hit that you do with that attack does an extra hit, which is kind of a useful thing. Here you can place somebody on a portal, so that's kind of a neat thing to have. Hate 3, Everspell, and then all sorts of new other things you have. A Nasty Pendant, a Wand of Sweetness, a Moon Ring, a Blazing Shot, a Crushing Gauntlet, Angelic Rings. And these are just extra nice things to have. And it's going to make you feel good being able to buy all this extra equipment. Although, if there's one thing that they did that cracks me up, that there's dragon armor now, a dragon gauntlet, dragon boots, and a dragon helm. This gives you an extra reroll. This gives you an extra movement point for each dragon card. You can exhaust each card each time per dragon card this hero has equipped. 1 defense for each other dragon card this hero has. That's amazing stuff. Guess what? Each of these dragon cards is in a different pack. So you have to buy all the dragons to get them. Here, this hero heals 3 wounds at the beginning of your turn. So anyway, lots of cool stuff. As I said at the beginning, this is all level 6, so you're not going to be able to use this much in regular games, but man, it feels good to load that up to fight each other and then fight the dragon. So as you might guess, I love these things. These are great. It is a lot of fun, and it gives you a very nice, satisfying conclusion to a campaign. Now, do you need all of them? No, I don't think so. I mean, unless you're someone who needs to have all the dragon armor. It's nice. I'm glad I have all of them. I got the first 3, and I hunted down the Kickstarter one and bought it from somebody. But having all 4 dragons gives me a lot of variety and stuff, but I haven't even fought against all 4 of them yet in the campaigns, because you go through. I did some mock battles with the ones I didn't get to because I was curious how it would be against them. If I was going to say get one, well, what are you looking for? The Frost and the Fire Dragon are the most traditional ones, in that the Fire Dragon's burning things down, the Frost Dragon's freezing you. Poison one's also fairly traditional. The Chaos one's very different, but they're also, the Poison and the Chaos have the potential to be extremely deadly without seeming to be so deadly. But really, I mean, just take a look at these. Which one catches your fancy the most? That's what you should get. I would get one, go through and play with it, because again, it's just fun to do that. Now, it's really intriguing to me how the game kind of turns into this co-op game at the very end. You don't gear up, you're kind of equipping everything, and you're going up and fighting the dragon. In fact, the first part where you're fighting each other and trying to knock the dragon down, that's okay. But then we get into this full co-op, which is interesting because up to then, Arcadia Quest has been a series of very, 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 very non-cooperative games. You are now working together. So that's great by me. A lot of cool things. I mean, on some ways, I'm pretty sure that they added these dragons to the game just because they want to put dragons in Arcadia Quest. But they made good rules. They made the game cooperative at the end, which is fine. We've been fighting this whole game. Now let's band together against this really mean dragon. It's not an easy thing to beat, but it feels good to have this awesome, amazing equipment. It makes the ending of Arcadia Quest extremely satisfying. And if you're looking for that, I would get this expansion for sure. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!